With his lightning-fast speed, unmatched agility, and uncanny ability to read plays, Deion Sanders left an indelible mark on the cornerback position. In this video, we'll delve into the mesmerizing career of Primetime and uncover the jaw-dropping plays, memorable moments, and unparalleled skills that solidify his status as one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever grace the gridiron. When we dive into discussions about the all-time greatest cornerbacks, Deion Sanders is often the name that springs to mind. It's not hard to understand why when we closely examine his remarkable career statistics. Even at the age of 56, Sanders remains an extraordinary figure in the football world, and many have jokingly questioned if he's genuinely human, given his unparalleled physical gifts. His speed and catching abilities seem almost otherworldly, and his agility defies the imagination, making him a standout among the elite few who have ever played the cornerback position. When you talk to fans and ask them to list the top cornerbacks of all time, you'll find a concise and exclusive roster, typically featuring legends like Darrelle Revis, Rod Woodson, Mel Blount, and Champ Bailey, with Deion Sanders reigning supreme at the very pinnacle. Deion Sanders' journey to the NFL stardom began long before he graced the professional gridiron. Hailing from humble beginnings, Sanders rose through the ranks from his early days to become a household name. His college football career at Florida State University deserves special mention, where he not only demonstrated his extraordinary skills, but also clinched prestigious awards, notably the Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's top defensive back. Deion Sanders kickstarted his career with the Atlanta Falcons way back in 1989. He rocked it there for 5 seasons, racking up 3 Pro Bowl nods and 3 All-Pro selections. Sanders snagged 17 interceptions in his Falcons stint before heading west to join the NFC champs, the San Francisco 49ers. Just 1 season with the Niners, but man, was it epic. He even clinched the Defensive Player of the Year title with 6 interceptions and 3 touchdowns in just 14 games. Yep, you guessed it, he was still rocking those All-Pro and Pro Bowl tags. And oh, let's not forget that Super Bowl win in '94, Deion's swan song in San Fran. Now, in '95, he swapped that Niners jersey for a star-studded Cowboys one, and while his stats weren't sky-high, he wrapped it all up with another Super Bowl win. Jerry Jones made a splashy move, and it sure paid off with the Lombardi Trophy. After his Dallas stint, Primetime switched gears and joined division rivals, Washington, but that lasted just a single season. Then came the retirement timeout, a solid 3 years off the field before he decided to make a comeback in 2004 with the Baltimore Ravens. He rocked the Ravens jersey for 2 more seasons before he finally hung up his cleats after the 2005 season. Now, when you give into Deion Sanders' career stats, it's like hitting the jackpot. We're talking 188 games, not 1, but 2 Super Bowl rings, the Defensive Player of the Year in '94, a cool 53 interceptions, and a staggering 8 Pro Bowl nods, not to mention those 6 All-Pro honors. Oh, and don't forget, he's a bona fide Hall of Famer. For many diehard football fans, Prime is the undisputed GOAT of cornerbacks, and honestly, it's tough to argue with that kind of pedigree. Deion Sanders' legacy is not just defined by his stats, but by the unforgettable moment he etched into the annals of football history. Whether it was his gravity-defying interceptions, electrifying kickoff returns, or game-changing plays that left spectators in awe, Sanders had a knack for delivering when it mattered most. These signature plays not only solidified his reputation as a game-changer, but also endeared him to fans across the nation. In this video, we'll dive into these iconic moments that made Deion a living legend on the gridiron. Now, let's talk about those jaw-dropping, heart-pounding moments that made Deion Sanders a living legend. Remember that unforgettable play when he high-stepped into the end zone? Classic Prime. And then there were those game changers that swung the momentum like a pendulum. Plays that turned the tide and had fans on the edge of their seats. You see, Deion didn't just play football, he turned it into an art form, making him not just a sports icon, but a true entertainer. So in this video, we're gonna relive those moments that made us cheer, gasp, and celebrate Primetime in all his glory. Alright folks, let's break down Deion Sanders' Hall of Fame resume. First off, we've got the man racking up Pro Bowl appearances like there were free samples at a food court. 8 times. He was the kind of player who collected first-team All-Pro selections like trading cards, and just to keep things spicy, he threw in a couple of second-team nods because why not? And don't let the fancy titles fool you. He wasn't just a cornerback. Deion was so good, they named him twice, landing first-team All-Pro honors as a kick returner and punt returner. Oh, and did we mention he's got 2 shiny Super Bowl rings, making him the original Lord of the Rings. In '94, they had to create a whole new award just for him, the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Talk about making an entrance. And when they picked the all-decade team for the 90s, guess what? He snagged spots as both a cornerback and a returner. Double trouble, baby. But here's the kicker. Deion Sanders is the one and only athlete to play in a Super Bowl and a World Series. That's like being the MVP in 2 different universes. So there you have it. Primetime's Hall of Fame resume with all the laughter and swagger that made him the true legend we all adore. As for his time with the Falcons, Deion tied for first place in career punt return touchdowns. The end zone was like his second home. And when it comes to punt returns, he set the record with a mind-boggling 79-yard sprint. Someone get this man a racehorse. Second place in career kickoff return touchdowns. Yep, he's got 3 of those under his belt, making kickoffs look like a breeze. But wait, there's more. He's tied for second in career interception return touchdowns and kickoff returns, 3 times each. It's like he had a 6th sense for finding the end zone. And let's not forget these yards. He's 3rd in career interception return yards and kickoff return yards, putting him in the prime real estate market. You know what else? Deion's tied for 4th in season interceptions with a cool 7 picks. Quarterbacks must have thought he had a GPS tracker on those passes. Finally, he lands 5th in career punt return yards, nearly 800 yards of zigzags and jukes, making fans jump out of their seats. So there you have it. Deion Sanders' Falcons stats sprinkled with humor because, well, it's primetime, and he knows how to keep us entertained, even in the record books. In the world of the 49ers, Deion reigns supreme as the king of season interception return yards, 303 yards of pure primetime magic. And when it comes to season interception return touchdowns, he's just not in the race. He's leading the pack. Tied for the first place with 3 jaw-dropping pick sixes. Talk about turning defense into an art form. But wait, there's more. Deion's not one to rest on his laurels. He's also tied for second in career interception return touchdowns with 3 more touchdowns to his name. And speaking of turning defense into offense, he snags 3rd place for the longest interception return at 93 yards. It's like he had a turbo boost button in those cleats. In the grand tapestry of NFL history, few cornerbacks can hold a candle to the extraordinary legacy of Deion Sanders. His 1994 season, where he notched 3 pick sixes and propelled the 49ers to the Super Bowl, stands as a shining testament to his unparalleled talents. Deion wasn't just a cornerback, he was a scoring machine, leading the league in non-offensive touchdowns multiple times, and in '94, he finished 3rd in MVP voting, narrowly missing out to his teammate, Steve Young, while still taking home the Defensive Player of the Year honors. Talk about dominating on both sides of the ball. But Deion was more than just statistics and awards. He was a showman, an artist on the football field, and his charisma added an extra layer of magic to his legendary returning skills. Whether it was on special teams or from interceptions, lockdown cornerback? Absolutely. Natural playmaker? Without a doubt. Deion Sanders wasn't just a football player, he was a multi-sport maestro who became the only athlete to grace both the Super Bowl and the World Series. Primetime dazzled us with his talent, flair, and unshakable confidence, leaving an indelible mark on the game.